welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be in awareness of the month of May. The month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month I'll be focusing on some mental health vlogs as well as some storytime videos. Before we get into today's video, I want to thank Design It with Vicki for sponsoring today's video. Residing in Brooklyn, New York, Design It with Vicki is a woman-owned small business. Vicki is a personalization specialist in which she creates several items by hand and designs them to customer needs. For example, here is a flower that says Landon's mom. The name could be changed as well as the flower. And there are several items that have recently been added to the line, such as breakable hearts, flower frames, and so many more. I have been a customer of Vicki's, I want to say for about 6 months now. She has helped us to make our Christmas photos a success last year with these personalized holiday ornaments. They came out amazing, and she was very flexible with what we wanted on each ornament. Here are some items I purchased for Mother's Day. What I love most about Design It with Vicki is it is a very creative business. The owner is very punctual, very communicative, and you never have to worry about receiving an item damaged or not to what you expect. And you also get it at USPS priority shipping. Here is my Harry Potter bottle at night. Notice how it just illuminates the room. You can't really find something like this anywhere. Very creative, amazing. Overall, a wonderful customer service experience, and I will continue to keep coming back to Design It with Vicki for years to come. If you are interested in checking out the Design It with Vicki shop, I will go ahead and leave the link here on the screen as well as in my description below. And once again, thank you for Design It with Vicki for sponsoring today's video. And without further ado, let's continue. So as I was saying before, guys, the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this month we'll be focusing on some mental health awareness vlogs. Today's vlog is going to be a storytime vlog of my mental health journey so far. Before we get into the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button. That way you'll be notified of all the latest here at EP Life. And without further ado, time for a story. Time for a story. So, let's take it back to February or March of 2008. I think that's right. Apologize in advance, guys. This video is going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of memory, as my mental health journey is kind of long. Myself and my family had a horrible experience in which we went through a home invasion as well as a burglary in 2008, in which it severely affected my mental health. There was a lot of self-blame, a lot of post-traumatic stress that started to severely affect my schoolwork. Now, to give you guys visibility, I wasn't a perfect student, but I wasn't a horrible student, and the sudden decrease in my grades brought a strong amount of attention to myself, in which my mom was called to the school, and you know, we wanted to look, the school suggested that it would be best to look at some options as to what's going on. Fast forward, I want to say a month later, I started to see a psychiatrist. Now, I'm not sure why a psychiatrist came first. I honestly don't remember. I was in high school at the time. I don't remember if it was my choice or my mother's choice or the doctor's suggestion, but I saw a psychiatrist, and essentially I got an experience that spoiled me, and I'll explain that in a minute. But the psychiatrist was super nice. She saw me and my mother together at one point, and then at another point she started to see me by myself. The only thing I didn't like about that office was the fact that it had a very crowded waiting space, and I personally don't like crowds, and also was an inconvenience to get to. As time passed, I no longer needed the psychiatrist. No medication was given at the time. No diagnosis, from my understanding, was given at the time, except that I would probably have PTSD from said experience the rest of my life. Now, fast forward to 2000, I want to say end of 2014, early 2015. I was in a horrible relationship. I made the mistake of dating a coworker, and it's not It's definitely a lesson learned. However, it's something that I don't regret. I find that no matter how many hills or how many hurdles you go through in life, they're placed there for a reason, whether you see it in the reason or whether you see it in the moment or not. And I feel that this particular person was placed in my life for a reason to set the foundation of the person that I am today and the wife that I'm going to be in the near future. So I had a lot of frustrations with this relationship. I had a lot of conflict in this relationship and a lot of trying to find my place in my relationship, if this makes sense. This person and I were 11 years apart. He was 11 years older than me. And that experience was plenty until, you know, you have all of these conflicts and all of these other frustrations out there. So there were a lot of things going on in my life. This relationship was a rebound relationship from a long-term relationship prior. So I didn't exactly give myself a break. I didn't feel I needed one. I was wrong. And there was just a lot of other like growing pains at the time. I was still in my early 20s. I was learning how to drive. There was all these things going on. And of course, dealing with a breakup on top of it. But prior to the breakup, between moodiness, feeling up and down, anger, outburst, lashing out, I wanted to get a perspective on what was going on, because I felt that whatever was going on with me that I couldn't fathom what it was affecting my work life. It was affecting my personal life. It was a whole thing. So I'm blessed to work for an amazing company that provided resources to start getting options. And there were a few things. The first was like this phone counselor, which she was helpful, but she wasn't really helpful. I personally, it sounds stupid to say, but I personally feel that she demanded a lot of my time. She wanted to speak to me in between shifts, during shifts, and she was more like, this is the problem, you need to do this. It wasn't more, this is what I think, what's wrong with you. Let's go through these coping steps. Let's try this. Hey, maybe you need to be on medication. It was nothing like that. It was, oh, this person is doing this? No, you need to nip that in the butt. Like if anything, it made me more stressed. So I cut her off, and then I found a psychiatrist literally up the street from my job. So it was fantastic. I got to go either before or after my shifts. This is what I will say. I am going to do another video on pros and cons of seeing a psychiatrist versus seeing a therapist. But this guy asked me a few questions, asked me how certain things made me feel, a little bit of family history. Next thing you know, I left with two prescriptions. And I really didn't question that. And you know what? Looking back on it, I should have, because you shouldn't just be taking anything, especially if they're going to have long-term effects. And I was at a place in my life where I just wanted to get better. I was at a place in my life that I just wanted a diagnosis. So he diagnosed me with bipolar 1, and he sent me with some mood stabilizers, and I went about my merry way. Started taking the stabilizers. I believe he started me at 50 milligrams. Started the stabilizers, and in my opinion, they took too long, because I felt that they weren't working fast enough. I felt that they had like a time release. I just felt like I was taking nothing. I felt like I was just chewing like a gummy bear. It was nothing, didn't give me anything. So a couple weeks went by, went to see him again. 50 milligrams went to 100, and then 100 to 150, and 150 to 200. And then it got to a point where I just didn't like the office anymore. I didn't like the fact that the office was in Manhattan, and I lived in Long Island at the time. And I didn't like that it took me 2 hours to get there, just to get in somebody's face for 5 minutes for them to up my dose and walk away. Not to mention that no matter what insurance you have, these people get paid money. Your copay is like $30-$40 depending on your insurance, because you're technically seeing a specialist. So, whole thing. And I just didn't like the rapport of the person in the waiting room. It was like a husband and wife situation, and she was rhymes with witch. And I didn't feel comfortable. And one thing you can honestly know or say about me is if I'm in a situation that I'm uncomfortable, I'm out. Like, I'm not even trying to entertain it. I'm just gone. So that was that. Found another one locally, closer to home, about a 30-minute drive from home. Him and I hit it off. We were peanut butter and jelly. And the reason why I say that is because he actually took the time to sit and talk to me. We spoke about job transfers. We spoke about relationships. We spoke about family. We spoke about values. We spoke about pets passing away. You name it, we spoke about it. And him and I just clicked because our sessions were timed. I believe they were 30 minutes. And in those 30 minutes, he did me such a world of good. Not so much giving advice, but he just listened to me. And he agreed that my dose was too high. Look at that. So he dropped me down from 200 to 150. And if you want information on like medication and things like that, disclaimer, I'm not a medical expert, but if you have questions about my journey in particular, I have all my contact information in the description below. Feel free to send me an email or a DM on Insta, Twitter, whatever you feel. So him and I hit it off. Now, last time we checked in with time, it was 2014, 2015. Let's go to 2017. Now, between the 2015, not even, it was before that, to 2017, I got myself into a crazy amount of debt. I was in about 30K in debt. It was horrible. And the thing about this debt was no one knew about it. If anybody knew, it was a very chosen few. And the debt was, when I tell you, consuming. I was literally working for a paycheck and brought home nothing. By the grace of God, my job helps me get to work. If not, I probably wouldn't have had money for a Metro card. It was incredibly rough. And I carried that on my shoulders for years. I want to say for as long as I started banking. Until I got into a conflict with some friends. These friends now down the road realizing they were not the best for me. They did not have my best interest involved. They genuinely didn't care about me. It was strictly just using me. And they proceeded to lie and talk shit about me, in which they got my mother involved. And it was something I definitely didn't appreciate. And I unfortunately found that information by myself right before a session. So between finding that and finding out about that and finding this overwhelming hurdle of debt on my shoulders, I completely lost it. I was in the hallway of the psychiatrist, office, not even fully in his waiting room yet, hysterically crying. I couldn't calm down. I just wanted the pain to stop. And I remember telling him over and over and over, I just wanted the pain to stop. I just wanted everything to go away. So my mother drove me to these appointments. She was never asked to be a part of these appointments until that day. And he was like, listen, like, she wants the pain to go away. She's not hearing me. So I think it's best for her to, seek medical attention. That's not me, i.e. a hospital. And get an opinion. I don't know if she'll have to stay, etc., etc. So I was on the fence. I really wanted to go because I didn't feel the pain leaving. So I called a few close co-workers. Mind you, I'm at a different location this time. I called a few close co-workers and friends and told them goodbye because I didn't know I was coming back, when I was coming back to work, or how would I be when I came back to work. And between my mother and my father and myself, we just felt it best to keep me at home. To this day, I still think that was the best decision. Kept me home for a few days from work and just picked up the pieces. Luckily, my parents and my family did everything in their power to help me with the debt. The debt has now been taken care of. And I slowly started to pick up the pieces of my life. I stayed in that location until that was summer 2017, which I'm sure you'll see it. It's upside down, but that is That is the date I have on my wrist. The day of that breakdown was 7/29/17. Fast forward to winter 2017. Did I continue to see the psychiatrist? No, see, what had happened was I got involved with David, and all of my free time I wanted to be with David. So I started to skip my psychiatrist appointments, and then I felt that I didn't need the medication anymore, so I stopped taking it, which I'm not a medical expert, but let me say, this is something you never do. You never just stop taking medication, especially any medication that deals with mental health, because that can cause a chemical imbalance, that can cause a hormonal imbalance, and you think you're feeling worse before you take it, before the medication's even in your life. You will feel 100% worse than how you were feeling before if you just decide to snatch yourself off this medication. But you know, Emily being Emily, I was like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? And I just did it. So, met David, got involved with David. David asked me to move in with him. And I moved in here summer 2018. So the psychiatrist was no more, because I was not going to Queens to see the psychiatrist. And plus, like, I think I needed him for something, and I tried reaching out to him, and he never answered the phone again. So I don't know if he moved or what the situation was. But he was an amazing guy, and, like, I will love him forever, because he's just one of those people you meet in life that touch your soul. So, I want to say it was sometime between summer and fall of 2018. David and I got into an argument in which I felt how I felt all those years ago. Very hot, very frustrated, very angry, not sure where to put my anger. Pushing doors, slamming doors, kicking things, slamming things. Really bad pent up anger that I couldn't really figure out what to do, how to release it, any type of coping mechanism for it. Then the moodiness started up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, mind you, I didn't feel that this was a side effect of just stopping my meds, because it had been months since I stopped the medication. But it got to a point that I was like, you know, I felt that this was past demons, and it wouldn't be fair to bring past demons into a present clean slate situation. So I took it upon myself, and I said, you know what, if I'm going to better myself and I'm going to better my life, I need to change. It's just like a person with any type of issue, whether it's a gambling issue, an addiction issue, whatever the situation may be. If you want to change, you have to be that change. You have to take that first step. And that's what I did. I partnered, I think, with my PCP. It was this whole process and trying to find a doctor. And then I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to do something differently. I don't want medication. The medication, I learned later on that the medication that I was on, for the amount of time I was on it, I've always had what I call a googie neck. I've always had this ever since I was a kid. Like, I always had like a little like fat in the neck here. And normally when you see this, you automatically, from a medical standpoint, it's a thyroid issue. So when I changed my doctor, she instantly sent me for an ultrasound for my thyroid, because she thought I had thyroid issues. But later on down the line, I learned I don't have thyroid issues. But because of that medication, this potentially got bigger and got worse because of that. And it could have caused a thyroid issue. Luckily it didn't, but it seems like I'm just going to have this turkey waddle forever. So that was that. Between partnering with my PCP, partnering with my job resources, looking online, ZocDoc, my insurance, I finally came across a website where, if I can remember it, I'll link it down below. And there were several therapists on it. So the amazing boyfriend at the time, now fiance, I have, was helping me call. And all these places were not taking new patients. And it just got to a point that it was so overwhelming and it was so frustrating. And even David was like, what is the point of a person trying to get help if nobody's taking new patients? So even he understood my frustration and how hard it was. And then there was this one woman who I believe she said, you know, to try calling, and if you don't get a call back, leave a message. So I said, hi, my name is Emily such and such, my insurance is such and such, this is the area that I live in, this is what I'm looking for, you're within a distance for me to get to. If you are accepting new patients, please reach out to me. So she called back, and of course, me being me, didn't recognize the number. Luckily, by the grace of God, she sent a text message. It was like, hi, Emily, my name is such and such. You know, you called me, you know, you're inquiring about a therapist. And I met her. And when I tell you, again, I will be making a video of pros and cons with psychiatrists and therapists. This woman has changed my life. It's not until somebody tells you something from another person's perspective that it opens up your eyes. She has helped me figure out past trauma. She has helped me figure out that I potentially, if not most definitely, do not have bipolar disorder. I have past demons that haven't been dealt with. Demons since like I was a child. And these are things that I never knew I had. And they have been so rewarding. When I tell you guys, I'm not even exaggerating. Going to therapy has made me such a different person. It has made me have such a low tolerance for BS and such a high tolerance for like love and support. It has strengthened my relationship. I feel like it'll strengthen my marriage. It has made me a better cat mom. Like, you name it, therapy has changed my life. I see a therapist once a week, unless something happens work-wise, schedule-wise, life-wise. She was my rock through my miscarriage. She is the first person that found out that I miscarried before David. And that was because I needed somebody there to calm me down until he got there. And she did just that. She always makes herself available to speak. And I know what you're thinking. Of course, somebody's going to make themselves available if they want to make money, right? But it's not even the case. I really feel that she genuinely cares. We have explored situations that, look at this pooch, like, look at this. We have looked at certain situations on whether or not I would need medication. There were times, I don't know if it was my miscarriage or it was another circumstance, that she even like was like, okay, like, if this is what you need, I will get you this, you know, if you need to, like, if you want to look into like facilities, if you need to look at a psychiatrist, if you need to look at a specialist, we will do A, B, and C. She works closely with my insurance to make sure I have everything I need. It has been such a rewarding experience. And I definitely am better for it. Now I see things in a whole different perspective. Now when somebody's a total jerk to me, I learn the reasoning why. And it's not, yes, she has the degree. And yes, you know, she's certified to do said things. But I feel more than anything, it's just a matter of getting a perspective from another person, because you do not need to have a mental illness to see a therapist. Some people seek therapy to get a different perspective on things. Some people seek therapy to get advice, deal with conflict, learn how to face new things in life, deal with change, adjustments to things. There are a lot of reasons why someone would see a therapist. Sorry guys, camera randomly went off, but so many reasons to see a therapist that I cannot wait to do my psychiatrist versus therapist video. But what I hope that people take away from this video is that there is no wrong route. If you feel that there is something not right with the way that you're feeling, or the way that or with whatever you're going through in life, or something happens, and let's say you have a very small family and you feel that you can't speak to your family and you need a person that's unbiased and you need a person to talk to, or you feel that something just isn't going right and you feel that you may need some help, whether it's medically or emotionally, I encourage you to seek help. I'm not sure how it is with different states, but I know with New York State, there was a desperate need with mental health. during the pandemic and even still now. I read an article in the New York Times the other day that said the phrase, how to hit a woman without anyone noticing, was Googled over 16 million times last year. So there are several opportunities out there in terms of domestic violence, physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse, and I can't emphasize enough that it never hurts to get a perspective. Even if you try it and realize it's not the right thing for you, which has happened to me too. I have inquired about specific therapists and specific psychiatrists that I didn't mention in this video, and I didn't use them. There was one lady, I walked right out of her office because I didn't like the experience. You as the person that is paying, you as the person that needs the medical attention, you have the option. You have the choice of what you like and what you don't like. So I highly encourage you to take those steps if needed, even if it's just for advice, a perspective, or dealing with a conflict. But again, guys, that is my mental health journey so far. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button. That way you'll be notified of all the latest here at EP Life, where we do lifestyle vlogs, honest reviews, and unboxings. And don't forget to check out Design It with Vicki, and I'll see you guys next time.